Ladies and gentlemen, let's RedGamer.com video. We're going to be taking a look at the Steam Summer Sale deals on the 14th of July, 2013. So today's deals are a somewhat mixed bag, however there are a couple of really good deals on here in my personal opinion. We're going to start things off with one of my absolute favourite games from last year, Hitman Absolution. It's available 75% off, which makes it a really good deal for both folks in the US and in the UK. It's £5 or $6.24. It's a really good title. It has a couple of small weaknesses that I'll get into in just a second. However, overall, I think it's extremely strong and character-driven. The main weaknesses, if I had to give them, are that basically the game penalizes you if you don't want to be too stealth-based, and in actuality, sometimes missions are a lot more gratifying just to go in all guns blazing. However, the stealth approach is definitely the way the game is supposed to be played, and you really do notice that with the way the game rewards you in terms of stealth. I have, of course, got a lot of footage of this on RGT, as well as some footage within the video itself. The Sims 3. Well, it's 50% off or $14.99, that's US dollars. And folks in the United Kingdom get absolutely raped because it is £15 as well. The Sims doesn't really need me to introduce it. This is going to be one of those titles you either love it or hate it. Personally speaking, I have never ever gotten into the game. I have no intention of getting into the game. That's not necessarily to say it's bad, but it's one of those titles that it takes a certain mindset to get into. And I don't really think I need to discuss that one much further because it's such a well-known title. Speaking of a really well-known title, Portal 2, it's available 75% off or $5, which is a pretty good price. The UK folks don't get ripped off this time. We get it for £3.74. All in all, Portal 2 is one of those games that is pretty much synonymous with gaming. It's not exactly the longest title out there, but for the price, it is definitely a ride worth taking, in my personal opinion. Sure, it is a puzzle type of game, so for those of us who are just into, say, shooting things, maybe you won't get that much enjoyment out of it, but overall, I think it is one of those titles that everyone should play, at least up to a certain point. And to be honest with you, the price of admission on this game is really cheap. So, in my personal opinion, it is definitely worth picking up. Next, we have Arma 2. There's a couple of deals available here. You can either buy the original Arma 2, or you could buy Combined Operations or Complete Collection, all of which have 50% off their title prices. That makes them $6.49, $12.49, and $19.99 US dollars. And if you want the British pound price, then you can expect to pay £3.99, $8.49, and $12.49, or the complete edition is £20.09. One of the primary reasons that this game was popular is a little game known as DayZ, which of course is a mod. Whether you're going to want to pick this one up is up to you. It's obviously a fairly old game now. It's actually supposedly scores pretty well. I'm actually not played it. However, from what I've heard, it is a pretty good title. Bear in mind that DayZ itself will be released fairly soon as a standalone, so there's no point really getting Arma just for this game. So it really has to stand on its own back of whether you want this for either the mods or not. I would recommend you check out some gameplay. I've not personally played this one, so I can't really be of more help. Next one, a fairly recent title to say the least, Remember Me, 40% off or $30. Or if you prefer the Great British Pound prices, we're looking at about £18, $17.99 if you want me to be exact. I would recommend this game for a couple of reasons. One, it is a pretty cool storytelling piece, plus as well the combat is pretty good. In my opinion, this definitely gets better as you go along. The combat itself, as well as her abilities, are fairly limited when you first start, and I mean to the point where the combat feels very clunky. However, the game does open up quite substantially, quite quickly actually. I have covered this extensively on RGT. I've given a couple of videos on it. I actually really like this. The PC port is pretty nice as well. It does play extremely well with keyboard and mouse. I don't really have anything particularly bad to say about it. I'm trying to keep this video fairly brief, so I'd recommend check out the video. However, if you're just asking a simple black and white, would you buy it or would you recommend it? Yes, I would. It has a certain elegance to it, and I really like the way the story is told, as well as the colour palette as well. Oh, incidentally, I almost forgot to mention this game is also extremely controversial, because as it turns out, the publishers didn't want a female lead. And so the developers actually had to fight them tooth and nail for a female character in the game to be the lead character. So it's a pretty cool story in that respect alone. So once again, really enjoy Remember Me. I think it's a pretty damn good game. Next we have the day's special deal, the featured deal if you want, for £10.79. Or if you prefer US dollars, it would be $13.79. You can get yourself a Kerbal space program. What the bugger is Kerbal space program, I hear you cry? Well, it is basically, the purpose here is that you can actually create your own space program. You can fly out to moons and other planets and proceed, and you can explore huge amounts of different planets. It allows you to mod the game as well. It currently, right now, by the way, isn't actually a full thing. Instead, you're actually paying for early access. I think this is going to be one of those games that's going to really become a huge phenomenon on PC. And has certainly the potential to be almost like another Minecraft. I'd recommend checking out if you're curious about this type of thing, or if you've got an interest in space at all. Next title would be Sanctum 2. This is a tower defense type of affair, and we'll get more into it in just a moment. It is available for 50% off for $7.49. By the way, just to illustrate, you can actually get a 4-pack of this for 50% off as well, which makes it $22.49. As for Great British Pound prices, for pound prices, you're looking at £6 for the standalone 1 copy, or $17.99. So this is a, as I've said earlier, tower defense type of game. It scores fairly well on Metacritic as well as general reviews. You're looking at generally between 8 and 9. I can honestly say that I've not played this title before, however, it does seem to be pretty cool. It is a tower defense FPS game, and I have to say, just looking at it in terms of aesthetically, it does look really cool. For the price, it's certainly far worse that you can be picking up. In my personal opinion, if you're interested in tower defense titles at all, it could well be worth checking out. Or if you're mainly an FPS player and you're just curious about it, you could also pick it up. More to the point, and better than my explanation, there's also a free demo available. And obviously you've got 48 hours for this one, so it doesn't hurt just to check out one demo. Anyway, next title. Next one, Fallout. The whole franchise is available on sale right now, including New Vegas and Fallout 3. Fallout 3 is $5 at 75% off. You can also pick it up if you're from the UK for £3.74, which is pretty damn good value indeed. For those of you who want New Vegas, there are 2 versions to look at. The first is just the standalone version, the second is the ultimate. Standalone for those of you who live in the United States and pay with US dollars will be $2.49, or $5 for those of you who live in the UK. It will be £2.49 or £3.74 respectively. So this is one of those titles that, once again, it doesn't really need that much of an introduction. It has spawned pretty much as many memes as Portal. The basic premise, of course, is that you are in a world that has been hit with numerous disasters, and you, as a player, must venture forth into an absolutely huge sandbox type of environment and do whatever the hell you want. This is one of those games that, honestly speaking, I have wanted to really get into, but every time I bloody well try to, something just puts me off, and I just don't end up getting that much further. I don't honestly know why, yet I know the game's absolutely fantastic. I would recommend it, however, at this particular price. It is a very, very good bargain indeed, and will give you a ridiculous amount of content. I would recommend to pick this one up with the DLC packs, because they offer a rather decent amount of extra gameplay for very little extra cash, which of course allows you to get, say, the Ultimate Edition, which includes all of the DLCs and so forth. Next up, we have Total War Shogun 2. This comes to us in many different collections indeed, all the way from $7.49 US, all the way up to $41.24, depending. What version you will buy will get you all different levels of downloadable content. In case you're wondering what that is, in British prices that will be $6.24 or $29.99. This is one of those titles that, if you're a strategy fan, you're probably going to want to own in your collection. It is extremely well regarded and critically acclaimed. Better yet, it also has a demo. So I'd recommend, before paying any cash, and rather than me waffling on about the title, I'd recommend you just check out the demo. You have 48 hours-ish from the time of this video going up to check it out, and then if you enjoy the game, then you can go ahead and purchase it. I think that's a lot better than me speaking about it. Next title would be Eador, Masters of the Broken World. Both the UK and the United States get this for 40% off, which makes it $11.99 for US dollars or $8.99 for Great British pounds. This is one of those titles that I've honestly not played. However, also, sorry guys, that's my phone, also seems to take a fairly diverse range of reviews. I'm seeing everything from low 2s all the way up to 4s and 5s. So I'm guessing you're probably going to have to just check this one out by itself, or to do some really decent looks at some reviews and so on, or maybe some videos. I've honestly not played this. Apparently, however, it is a grand strategy turn-based type of RPG affair, and does allow you to do a lot of role-playing and so on. This game is going to be one of those games that I've honestly not personally much interest in myself, and so I honestly can't give you my own opinion on it. So, what other titles are there? Well, out of the rest of them, I would recommend a couple. There are a couple of flash deals going on right this second, and in my personal opinion, the best out of the community choice and flash deals, well, you've got Final Doom BFG Edition. BFG Edition of Final Doom does include some extra content for Doom 3. I actually love this title, and I have actually played it. It's actually kind of a rip-off, though, for UK players, because you're going to be paying £5 for it, which is exactly the same in US dollars. So both US and UK are paying either pounds or dollars respectively. I would recommend it, however. I have tried it extensively, and I have personally a great opinion of it. Speaking of great opinion, Deadlight. I've also played this one quite extensively, and once again, just like Final Doom, I covered it on the channel. This is actually a really, really cool title. It actually uses the Unreal Engine to really good effect, and it's kind of a horror type of game. It doesn't do anything what I'd consider unique or different, but it does things extremely well, and I very much like not only the graphical stylings of it, but also the way that everything's presented and plays. It is, in my opinion, one of the better titles available on today's community choice / flash deal selection. Anyway, that's just about it for this particular video. It's been a fairly short one, I'm sure you'll agree. Not really, but regardless. So hopefully you've enjoyed it, and I will see you soon. Take care, and bye for now.